my gosh.
Hello,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty decent.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been a long, short day for me. I've just been
Uh,
working.
Capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. I swear I've been so tired. I also have been working. I only had like one day off.
Oh,
And then yeah, because I have two jobs. So
what the? What do you do?
well, I work for a fire protection company, but on the side I be doing REI because that's my job. I love that job. So I work it
What's
on the weekends sometimes.
what is REI?
REI, it's like an outdoor store, but it's like kind of bougie.
Oh,
It's like more bougie than Academy, but but I love it. I got these gloves there. I haven't taken them off.
okay. What? So
Yeah.
you're in the outdoor like gear and stuff like that, or what?
Yeah,
The
pretty
camp?
much. There's like outdoor gear, like running stuff, camping stuff, backpacking, all that kind of stuff, right?
Nice,
So kind of
nice.
fitness, kind of, right? They have like yoga stuff, blah blah blah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what? You just like the merchandise, or you get into?
But yeah. Well, I mean, I'm there, I get discounts. But also I genuinely love like the atmosphere there. Like I love being there. So yeah.
Okay.
And it's dangerous for me though, because I'm always every time I'm in there, I buy at least one thing.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is like you do a lot of like outdoorsy stuff or what?
Yes, I'm an outdoorsy girl. Actually, was thinking about it today. Like my birthday's in January, Aquarius gang.
Oh, run it up.
So I'm thinking about traveling to like a national park or something for my birthday. So
Oh shit.
I'm pretty excited. But
How
I'm trying to decide though where I want to go. And if I want to go like on my actual birthday or like because
yeah,
it's like
right.
so cold.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's been
so
chilly. Yeah, I've been meaning to go camping. There's a lot of cool spots like in upstate, but I just kind of
hmm.
never got around to it yet?
You've never been camping ever?
Oh, no. I used to camp a lot in
Oh,
like, high
okay.
school.
I was like, hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
haven't
I didn't start going camping till like my adult years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I never really camped as a kid because like I mean, I couldn't really go anywhere. I don't know. My family always just like stayed on place, but it was also because of my dad. So my dad's, you know, dads are dads.
Yo, yeah, he's like, why would you
What are
stay
they?
outside?
Yeah, yeah. So I definitely am taking advantage of it now that I'm older. I'm
No,
happy about
yeah.
it though.
Birthday camping thing. So what is it? Are you like a glamping person or do you more so enjoy
No, I
a whole
camp
tent?
in a tent and everything like that. Yeah, like I actually went camping like 2 weeks ago. I was over in Tyler, Texas. So it's like east of Dallas. Um, it was really beautiful over there. There was like a really nice lake. And it was like 40 something degrees and it was raining. Like it was a thunderstorm, like a tornado warning.
What
And
the?
I was still out in the bitch. I don't know.
That's pretty sick. Wait,
So
was it a solo camping thing or you went with some friends?
no, it was with a bunch of people from REI.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
They're my homies. I think that's part of the reason why I love being there is because everyone's just so down to do things.
Yeah.
Like everyone's just been through it all and like if they haven't yet, like everybody is very like inviting. Like if it's your first time, they make you feel like, hey, like don't worry. Like we got you. You can borrow my tent. You can borrow this. We'll help you do
Oh
this.
yeah.
So it's very like community, which I really enjoy because they don't want people to like miss out on experiences just because you can't afford this or that. Because I think one thing about like the outdoors that people don't talk about is that it's not cheap to just like
Oh,
do that stuff. Like have good quality gear and stuff like that.
yeah.
Before
Especially
I started working
some
there,
cheap stuff like it'll break,
yeah,
on the trip, and then you
I
just
used
gotta.
to get like Walmart shit,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Ozark Trails.
yeah. Yo,
Yeah. But hey, don't get me wrong, Walmart has some good
no,
stuff.
I mean, some of the stuff
But
will hang in there for a little
yeah,
bit, maybe
so
two trips. two or three.
Hmm. Yeah. But I feel like every time that I've gone, I'm always more prepared than I was last time, which is nice because then I feel like I can share that knowledge with other people around me. So I'm like, oh, I don't feel so helpless anymore. But
How long do you usually go camping for, and like what do you do? Because that's the thing that's kind of
uh,
always changes. And I think it changes also depending on how many people you go with or what type of campsite it is. I don't know. I'm just
hmm So it depends kind of like the area you're in. I've only camped in Texas so far. I think I've camped like 5 or 6 times, about that many times. Um, Usually, so I've done car camping, which pretty much it's where you get a campsite and you park near your campsite. So it's kind of like glamping in a way because I mean you can bring kind of whatever you want.
mm,
But we still like have tents and everything like that. Earlier this year though, I did do backpacking. So that's whenever you have that big ass backpack with like everything you need. We had to
that's
hike like
all
two
lightweight
miles
stuff.
to our campsite. So, it took a little bit.
Yeah,
And
that's always extreme.
but some of my some of my friends they were trying to be bougie and trying to bring a Yeti cooler. So we had to lug
Plug
a
it all
fucking
the way.
yet a big Yeti cooler. We were all having to like take turns.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a while ago that I went camping with I think how many people? So I think we were planning on going camping with just 4 people, but like another friend tagged along at
Mm,
the last second. So we were just like, yeah,
mm,
and then we ended up having to ration everything. But it was kind of like a hiking
yeah.
situation where we had to
Yeah.
like hike out like it was at least a mile. I remember it being far as fuck. Like it felt far. And
Yeah.
we kind of overpacked as well. And we had like a
I
cool
mean, when you have weight on you,
bunch
it
of
makes a
shit.
difference. You're like, fuck, I want this to be over.
Yeah, for real. Like that. The walk back is like legendary. It's like we're almost fucking there.
Oh
It feels like
my
five
God.
hours. It's
We well, whenever I went camping and I did the backpacking and we had to literally we were walking in the middle of the night. It was like the middle of the night, like 12 a.m. like so late. So we had our headlamps on and my headlamp, I'm dumb and I didn't get the one with the red light. I only got the one with the regular light. So when you have a red light, you can still see in the dark, but bugs don't swarm you. But I had a regular one, so bugs were
oh
swarming me, and I was
nice.
like, oh. So I had to turn it off a little bit, like on and off. It was
Yeah, try
terrible.
and lose them.
Don't anybody that goes camping, please get one with the red light. It's worth it.
I didn't even know that a
It's
red
bad,
light.
but mhm. That's something that I recently learned. And that's what I'm saying. Like every time I go, I learn my lessons.
Yeah, you're probably a professional by now. Like red
No,
light, like
definitely not.
I'm gonna give you that. Compared to me, maybe, yeah.
Um, my roommates are like laughing. They're watching some corny ass Christmas movie. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. My ADHD brain. I'm like, I forget. It's like, um, oh yeah, as far as like what we do and stuff. So I really liked being at that park because it was a dark sky park. So pretty much, there's like no light pollution or like very little light pollution. And so, I mean, there's no lights unless it's like, there's no lights by the campsite at least. That's why you have to hike into it.
Oh, okay.
Um, so it's really nice because then you can see the stars and oh my God, it was so beautiful. You could see like all the constellations. And one of the guys that stayed with us, he used to work at REI, but now he's a park ranger. And
Oh
so he
shit.
was explaining like all this stuff, like talking to us about the stories of the constellations, all this kind of stuff. And it was just really cool. And then he taught us how to like look for spiders at night. And basically, you're looking down with the headlamp, and if you see like little glitters, that's their eyes reflecting. So
Oh
that's how you'll
wow.
know that like spiders are around. So I thought that was really cool. But what was funny was when he was teaching us, he was like, "We're gonna go sniffing for spiders. Watch this." And he was like sniffing. He's like, right, and then he would act like he was sniffing for them, but he knew what to look for. So he was like, "Oh, I bet you there's a spider right there." And then he would look, and there was, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "I don't smell anything." um,
Yeah, he's like, yeah, those spiders, they get kind of musty after sundown.
yeah. But then he was like, "Nah, I'm just kidding. They have like glittery eyes, so that's how you know
That's
they're
pretty sick.
spiders."
So what, as a park ranger, he
Hmm.
just kind of, I don't know, what do they
I
even
would say like he kind of like
out
patrols
there?
the area and they make sure everything is like protected and stuff because there are people that try to like, for example, like drive trucks on the trail or something or maybe bring like some things that you can't bring over there. Like you're not supposed to bring glass bottles, right? For example. So like he'll just kind of check and make sure everything is good and also like guide people like if people have questions. And also, I mean, there's things out there too. Like when we were walking, like there was a rattlesnake out there. I was kind of
What? A
scared.
rattlesnake?
Yeah, there was a rattlesnake. I was like, oh my gosh. So, I mean,
What did you guys do? You're just like, all right, acknowledge what's
well,
happening.
you
Just
kind of
kind of,
have to just around it and make sure it's not like upset.
yeah,
So because he was there, like he's kind of like, okay, guys, this is what you do. Just kind of back away, make sure it's not,
that's cool. It's like a little field trip.
agitated. Hmm. And then the last time that like this past few weeks ago, when we were sleeping, I was like getting all cozy, and then I wake up in the middle of the night. I would say like I think it was like 2 a.m. and my phone was dying and stuff, and I didn't really have much light, so I had to go walk by myself to like the bathroom,
Yo.
and you could hear coyotes in the background, and I was like,
Wow.
I was like, oh my god, I was like, oh my god, mom, I love you.
Yo, for real. It's like, wow, this is really how I'm gonna die. Like going to the restroom.
Yeah, but I think it's just like you wouldn't come across this stuff in the city. I'm
Oh yeah,
always used to being around so much like light and buildings, and it's just like so overstimulating. So like when you're outdoors, it's like, okay, I can finally like breathe.
yeah,
And back to like what you do when you're out there, like literally, if you want to fucking take a nap in your tent, do that shit. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
this is your time to unwind, relax. Literally, like I found this like weird fruit that fell from a tree, and I just banged that shit open. I was just looking at it, and we were exploring it. We're like, "What is this?" Just smelling it and stuff, and then we googled it because we ended up having some reception. So we're like, then we found out that they were not good to eat. You could not eat them, but you could eat
Oh,
the seeds.
nice.
But it is kind of like a field trip. Like I think it brings out like your curiosity,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. And it's
I don't
crazy
know.
how fast it is to just kind of like switch off that city brain and kind
Hmm.
of just lean into being another piece of the earth, you know?
Yeah, and then you don't realize like just how much like you're constantly looking at a screen. It's nice to just be around other people, just sit around a fire and make s'mores.
You know, and like I wish the cold was a little bit more tolerable, like,
Yeah.
around these times, because like
Hmm.
I don't know. I was thinking today of how I was just kind of like I was at home all day, just kind of sitting in front of my computer, and
Hmm.
um, the sun goes down over here at like 4. So like the amount of time where I actually get sunlight is if I like intentionally go outside and walk around the block or
Hmm.
something, which is like very fucking weird if you think about it. It's like I only get sunlight whenever I choose to step outside for
That's
whatever,
so crazy.
you know? Yeah. And it just goes away so fucking fast. 4 o'clock, it sets.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So one of the places I was thinking of going for my birthday is actually Alaska because
Whoa.
I really want to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
So it's on my bucket list, and I've been trying to just like get myself to just go out and just do things and not just think about them. I'm tired of looking on a screen and just being like, "Ah, I want to do that. I want to actually do it.
And it's
So
very
I've
possible.
been trying to work on planning it. But I'm debating if I want to do it on my actual birthday or if I want to do it in like March because apparently it doubles your chances on seeing the northern lights when it's close to an equinox.
Uh,
So there's more like I think it's like magnetic or solar storms and stuff. So that's pretty much what causes the northern lights. It's like these heat things like rays or something that come down and like cause these lights. It's like super crazy.
yeah.
But so you're more likely to see it or like more of a show, I guess, because they'll like dance apparently. So I'm debating what I want to do. And
That's,
also I was looking at it, it's gonna be the like the negatives. So I'm like,
oh my God. Yeah, you're gonna have to literally wear every layer
but
you have.
yeah, but that's why I work at REI.
Oh,
I
yo.
I used to work in the clothing department, so I would actually outfit people
Yeah.
for stuff like that. I actually checked out this one lady, and she was going to Antarctica, and she spent like $2,000.
Holy shit.
But she was also buying gear, not just for her, but like for her mom and her sister, because
Oh,
it's on her mom's bucket list. And I was like, "Oh, do you guys like the cold?" And she's like, "My mom hates the cold." I'm like, "Why did you want to
nice.
go?"
Yo, yeah.
But you know,
She was doing her
good
duty
for
as a
her.
human.
Mhm. Yeah. So I've been thinking about that.
I think
Uh,
that's a good like that has my vote. I don't know what else is on your list of possibilities, but
well,
yeah,
just other places in the US that are a little bit closer, like places that you wouldn't even think that you'd be able to see it. Like you could see them in Idaho.
what?
Hmm.
For real? Why?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's during certain times of year, and you're a lot more likely to see it in Alaska. And when I was looking at flights like to Maine and Minnesota and Montana, all those places, like they were kind of similar. And I was like, I need to go to Alaska. Like, that'd be really fucking sick, you know? But
Yeah,
the sun sets like around like 4 or 3 or 4 or something like that. Like it's
probably earlier up
pretty
there,
dark.
further up north.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
apparently it's like a 10-hour flight. I'm like, oh. But I mean, I have been on like a 13, no, 15. I've actually been on a 15-hour flight. It fucking sucks, bro.
Yeah,
Going on,
I get fucked up on a 3 hour flight.
like, where am I?
Yeah, I realize that I hate planes. But props to the people who could sit through this.
Man, I remember whenever, so I think it was what, 20, I think it was in 2017. I went to Korea. And so I was visiting my uncle because my uncle lives there. And so it was a one way straight from Bush to Incheon Airport. And literally this old guy behind me, like, no, the old guy in front of me, he had his seat all the way back. And I'm like, bro, like, I need room. And then there's a fucking baby crying. And like, it's just uncomfortable. And I'm by myself. I was on this plane by myself. I was
Man.
scared.
Wait,
I
wait,
was
wait.
so
So,
scared.
I don't even comprehend what those long ass flights are like. You just kind of sit there the
Dude,
entire time.
you sit there and I watched a lot of movies. Don't get me wrong. I watched some
Wow, that's
movies.
so crazy. You're seated for the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you can get up and walk a little bit, but just to the bathroom.
Wow,
But I
yeah.
was by the window, so I had to keep asking people if I could get
Oh,
up. So that's the worst
what
part,
was
you
it like
know?
three people in a row?
Oh yeah, it was three people. It was one of the big airplanes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine me on a fucking small ass airplane? Hell no.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be
Actually, you
ridiculous.
know what? Whenever I was what was it? 2 years ago? No, last year. No. No, last year. What the hell? Oh my God. Last year, 2021, for my birthday, I went skydiving. So that was really fun.
Oh shit.
But we were in a tiny ass plane. Like a tiny ass plane. Like I had never been in a fucking plane this fucking tiny before. It was so tiny. I was scared. I was like, we ain't gonna break down right now. Like it was kind of like it looked old.
Hey, you had a parachute, there was nothing to worry about.
But I know. I was like, I know,
They
what a
they
parachute.
they, they
That's
get
kind of the point. Be scared of like
the
the
hell out
plane
of there.
crashing, but like I'm about to jump out.
Yeah, there's probably more incentive. They made sure they got like the shittiest plane, so so you like have to
So
jump
you
out.
wanted to get out of there.
Yeah, yeah,
That's funny. But that was a really good experience too. I think I've just been trying to like ever since 2021, or I guess the end of 2020 into 2021, I've
yeah.
just been like, I'm gonna live my fucking life. I don't care. Like,
Hold on, wait.
why am I?
We gotta
Uh-huh.
rewind though, because I am still curious about like the skydiving, and then we're gonna get to
Oh,
we're gonna get to
okay,
so
skydiving. Mhm.
how many seconds were you falling? Was it seconds
Um,
or was it longer? Did it feel like
I
a
would say seconds. I would say it was seconds because I think we only went up to like 10,000, 12,000 feet, or I don't know how fucking long that shit was. But because I
is
know
that
a
like
lot of
a
other
building's
places like
height?
15 plus. I mean, definitely taller than a building for
Oh,
sure.
okay, okay.
But I don't remember the exact elevation. I don't know
Yeah,
what you would call that. Whatever. Height, whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I mean, there was clouds. You know what I'm saying? Like there was clouds. I mean, there was some clouds. You can see the birds. It was really cool. And it was funny actually because that whole week it was cold and it was kind of raining, but on my birthday it didn't rain at all, and I was like, oh, it was
Hey,
amazing.
yeah,
And I didn't have to postpone.
the sky was
Yeah.
like welcome.
Mm-hmm.
That was for
Exactly.
you. All right,
So that
those are
was
the
really
questions.
fun.
Or actually, was it hard to breathe? And then I'm gonna ask another one after that, but you go ahead. It's like falling, all that air.
It did feel weird, but it wasn't like a drop like on a roller coaster. It wasn't like that.
Oh.
Like it was, I don't know how to describe it. It actually felt really peaceful.
Have you ever been indoor skydiving?
I have not. Actually, you know what's funny? Um, so I like a few years ago, I was gonna go indoor skydiving with my ex-partner, but then we broke up and I didn't have the little pass anymore because he had it and he said he was gonna get back to me and then he never did. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go real skydiving, so whatever. So I ended up going real skydiving. But
Oh,
but I saw videos of how it works and stuff, and it looks kind of scary actually, like, because
yeah,
then
yeah,
because you're kind of just like staying there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like in
It's
place.
I've been indoor skydiving just once for my little brother's birthday, and it's actually really cool.
Hmm.
But maybe I need to go skydiving, or you need to go indoor skydiving.
Honestly, we
When,
gotta, yeah, I gotta try that and you gotta try it. Yep.
yeah, yeah, we hit you back with the
Honestly, it was definitely a very like worth it experience. Like any fear that you have beforehand, like it's just one of those things where it's just like it's not as scary when you're actually there. Like I was
uh,
very surprised. I didn't feel like this buildup of like anxiety. I actually felt like really excited. And maybe it's because I was just so ready for it. I don't
yeah,
know. It was kind of like a very transitional period in my life. So I very much embraced it and I kind of told myself like I'm not gonna hold myself back anymore. Like this is me physically taking risks and I'm going to never let myself stay comfortable.
uh,
And from then on, I feel like my life like actually like I feel like that was definitely a very memorable experience for me.
and this is in
Um,
that you said the end of
I recommend anyone do it.
2021 to get back on that
No, it
page.
was the beginning 2021. It
Uh,
was kind of the beginning of 2021 where all that stuff to me, but 2021 is in January, so that's whenever oh my God.
yeah, let me see if I can just kind of.
That's how I'm like, it was last year? That's crazy.
You said what? It was freezing
I
up
said,
for
I can't believe that it was last year.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Yeah,
can you
yeah.
hear me?
How do you? No, yeah, you're good now. So
Okay.
how do you feel now that you're kind of like post that realization? And I'm kind of curious, like I don't know if you're willing to share because I'm gonna post this eventually, but
Hmm.
like what made you feel
Well,
that way about
um,
lean into life?
well, I won't get into super detail, but I'll give like a brief
You don't have to.
history. But so in 2020, I went through a really hard breakup. I was in a relationship for like 4 years. And so that was really hard for me. And also I was living with a family that was very negative, very toxic, very just always constantly made me feel just like weighed down.
Yeah.
Um, and also I didn't have a car at the time, and I didn't have um like a job that I really enjoyed. So I just feel like everything was kind of just weighing down on me, and like everything just felt like so like everything was falling apart, you know? So
Yeah.
and then also the pandemic. It like my breakup happened like a week before the whole shutdown. So
Oh shit.
literally, it was literally like, okay, I ended up moving in with my cousins in Cyprus, and I used to live in South Houston, so it's like a whole like hour away.
Oh yeah.
So pretty much, once I moved in with my cousins, I was kind of isolated from all of my friends because everyone lived on the other side of town, and it was, I mean, we had to go through lockdown, and
Yeah.
I didn't have a car, so I couldn't really go places, and it was just like very hard for me. So I definitely went through this really big period of like healing and learning to be like comfortable with myself. And I had like constantly been in like long-term relationships. Like before I was with that person, I was with someone for 5 years, and before
Oh
that, like I was a fucking kid. So like it
wow.
was just like long-term relationships, you know? So I had never really like had time to like explore like who I was. And the thing
Yes.
is, I've always had a strong sense of self. Like I've always known like what I like, but I never fully embraced like my emotions, you know? Like I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Being like
you know.
independent
Mhm.
of someone else, like a significant other, is like I don't know, like the mindset that you have whenever you're in a relationship versus whenever you're
Mhm.
outside of a relationship is like completely different. Because then there's also that growth that's happening between you and the other person, and really, whenever you're in a
Yeah.
relationship, you're kind of like uh it's like a dance of kind of being unified, you know? So being on
Yeah,
the
because it's like
is
you're
a
both
little,
trying to grow at the same time. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, being outside
I've
of
been
that,
thinking
it's
about that.
all right, who am I again, you know?
Hmm. Like, who am I, like, when I'm not around you? And like, of course, like you do take little bits of everyone, and you do um try things maybe you wouldn't have tried before, and blah blah blah. It's kind of there are things definitely from that relationship that I will always like hold close to me, and I never regret any person that I've ever been with, interacted with, or anything like that. I always feel like I come out with like a clearer mind in a way, because I'm like, okay, well now I really know what I want, what I don't want, you know?
Mm, yeah.
Um, so I do feel like I've built a very strong, just like I don't compromise as much for people anymore. Like I used to be a very big people pleaser. Like I used to just be like, yeah, like I'll stop what I'm doing for you, you know? And now I'm just like, hold on. I have my life, and at the end of the day, like I'm always gonna have me, you know? And you
Wait,
kind
so,
of have to
so
learn.
you gained
Uh-huh.
that after the long-term
Oh
relationships?
yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay, okay.
Yeah, because I was single for like 2 years.
Nice, nice.
Um, so yeah, it was, and it was by choice. I definitely just did
No, of
not want,
course.
I did not, I really wanted to just give myself time for me, and really just the time I never truly got to have because I was constantly in relationships, you know? Like I didn't
Yeah,
know a lot of things about myself, and now I'm very, very just sure of a lot of things. So
yeah, no,
that makes me
being
happy.
single is like I feel like pretty much just your entire 20s, there's this like weird stigma surrounding being single. I don't know, you seem like oh, there you go. Yeah, and it's like
Oh,
if you're single,
oh
it's
yeah,
like
I was just very still.
it's like, oh, if you're single, it's like, what are you doing wrong? And it's like, whoa, switch that mindset. It's like, no, no,
Mhm.
no, no, no. Like this is me time right
What
now.
makes you think I'm not happy on my own?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. There's There's too many
And the thing, um,
go ahead.
I feel like we're like delayed a little bit, so I'm like, oh. But I was gonna say the thing that I really learned to cherish from being single, not that I didn't cherish my friendships, my platonic friendships or anything, but I really learned to have fulfillment through my platonic, because I feel like we're always constantly, maybe even unknowingly, like seeking validation from our partner, and again, it's that like codependency. And when I feel like you don't know yourself entirely, like you're always going to be kind of taking from another person instead of being able to like give. And so I feel like now I'm very much like I know so much more about myself, so I don't feel like I'm gonna love like selfishly. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just gonna like take from you. Like I'm gonna listen to you as a person and listen to your needs and voice my needs and not try to like manipulate you into doing this so I can feel a certain way. You know what I mean? Like I want
Yeah,
everything to feel natural and if I have issues, like I want to voice them and like we can communicate those things, and um, we're not gonna get any stupid petty fights. Like of course those might happen, but I don't know. I'm a big communicator, and I
yeah,
just feel like the older that we get, like the less energy we have for bullshit.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, self-knowledge is so important to not only communication, but just like being able to be receptive to like pretty much like feedback in general, you know? If you don't know yourself too well, it's going to be a bit jarring whenever someone has something to say about you because
mhm.
it's like but this idea of myself is different from what you're saying, like stuff like that. People get really defensive and I don't know. And self-knowledge is like very rare, but at the same time everyone feels like they have it. Like there are moments where I think I know everything about myself, and I'm still catching myself
Um,
being like, defensive whenever I get like personal feedback. And then I'm like, whoa, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, you know? But just goes to show that there's always like a lot of work that's to be done, you know? Oh, you froze up.
oh,
There we go, we're back.
okay, we're back. Okay, cool. It froze for like a second.
But yeah, yeah. I was basically just saying that like, yeah, no matter how much like everyone feels like they know about themselves, because everyone has to be like self-assured, in order to kind of like
Mhm.
operate. But like the amount of people who are actually like they know themselves and they're able to kind of like get all that feedback, it's like a rare thing. And it's the only
Definitely, yeah. I know like a lot of people don't realize like how much ego they have. And that's something that I try to be very like sparing with. Like everybody has an ego, your ego is not your enemy, but if you let
yeah,
it inflate too much, definitely it holds you back from being able to, really think critically of yourself, but like in a constructive way, you
yeah,
know? And that's my biggest thing. Like I feel like if I'm coming to you and I'm telling you, hey, like these are the issues that I've seen with you or whatever, that's coming from a place of love, Like, why would I want to keep seeing you not grow? Like, I want you to grow as a person. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like, they just see criticism as something that's like, you're attacking me. And
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
it's,
They're like,
how
oh,
they
so
grew up, I
yeah,
know a
yeah,
lot of it is obviously how we were talked to as like kids and all that kind of stuff. But I always try to make it as clear as possible to people like, hey, like I'm having this conversation with you because I genuinely care about you. And if there's anything that I ever do, please tell me. And like, yeah, like it might hurt, but I would rather know than not know because how am I supposed to grow? Like if I don't know, you can't fix what you don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So,
And a lot of people try not to know. Because knowing is so fucking hard. That shit's tough, you know, but it's worth it in the end, you know. Um,
mm,
but yeah, these are gonna be a little shorter than the
you
regular
know,
ones. Can you hear me? We good now? Right?
no problem.
Oh,
A lot,
call.
actually.
Wait,
Yeah, you're good.
can you hear me now?
Can you see me? I can hear you.
Oh,
Can
okay,
you hear
sweet.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, and I can see you a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna try and keep these at like 45
All right.
minutes because usually they go on forever. And I've been like really busy recently. Um, but
Me
yeah, it was
too.
really nice talking to you.
Yes. Thank you for having me. All right.
No,
Well,
yeah.
you have a good rest of
All right.
your night.
You have a great night as well. Thank you for giving me a little bit of
Stay
your
warm.
time. All right.